This is a reading video for A Certain Magical Index Season 2, Episode 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. A 5-episode reaction. Click and link in the description below to go watch my reaction. Then come back here to see my full thoughts, ideas, and theories about these episodes and what's to come and all that good stuff. It is new season, new theories, new ideas of what possibly might happen. So, yeah. Go click away now before you're spoiled as to what happened in these episodes. Okay, so started off like almost immediately jumping into magic stuff, just like right away. A little banter between Index and him, but we immediately got introduced to a new character who had a grudge, or not a grudge, who wanted information. He wanted one of the books that Index has, and he blew open like the whole apartment like by himself with one like bow and arrow crossbow like looking like arm wrist machine thing. And then later on he destroyed like the restaurant, which I'm pretty sure Toma had to pay for, which is really BS. They should look to see like who did the actual stuff, and that was the guy. But obviously I'm pretty sure they won't even know who he is. But I don't know. Still kind of BS in the long run. Anyways, some kind of big festival like thing, like with like streamers with like indentations and everything written on cards, everything all strung up like everywhere, to basically go into Index's mind and grab one book, just one book. And it destroyed him. It literally ripped him apart from the inside. He was bleeding from the mouth. He was bleeding from the ears and eyes. Just by, like, I'm not even sure if he even got the full book. Like, I wonder if it's just like a chapter. Like, like we're not sure how far along he did get, or how much information he did get of the book. But like every time he'd get like a little bit at a time, and then he'd use his arm machine again to kind of force another, in a way, like maybe a chapter or something like that, right? Like every like bump of the crossbow was like a section of the book kind of thing. So he just kept like shooting it, just getting more and more knowledge at a time. Mouth started bleeding, started going to the ground, ears erupted. Blood bleeding from the eyes, that kind of thing, or an eye. I can't remember if he was bleeding from one eye or both eyes. Anyways, it doesn't really matter. He's bleeding from the eyes. And then I guess his memory, like his ideas and his mind and everything, started kind of leaving traces in Index's mind, and so she was able to kind of decipher that he's in love with her, though he doesn't want to admit it, or he doesn't know he loves her, kind of thing, and wants to, get him out of this like bad choice. And that's when Toma showed up, grabbed one of the ropes, and then everything went, bah! just like confetti. Basically, it was like instant. So we never got to see anything beyond that, because pretty much after that, that was the end of the episode, pretty much, and then we moved on to like other things, basically. So we never got to see what happened with her. The one lady who was like cursed, or like that. Like, we're not sure if Toma was able to like defeat the curse by just touching, kind of thing. We're not sure. There was no shown to us at all. Who knows? But the main thing of these episodes was the Holy War, effectively, versing three factions, with not only Index, Toma, and Styles in the middle of it, but also a priest, or a nun, who thought she had the algorithm, or whatever that, to decipher one of the tomes in Index's mind. But turns out that the book actively gives you false text, so that way you decipher wrongly, kind of thing. And it's like a common thing within like people reading that book, is like you get like I guess you get a section of text, I guess, and if you read that there's like 100 different outcomes or something like that, like the book gives you, and then like they're all wrong. It seemed like so like they're not actively giving out like chapters upon chapters to decipher, just like maybe a string of text to a sentence is what like I think Index was saying, um, and that's like capable of just like enough to not harm anybody. I'm guessing, but yeah, so like maybe like a sentence something like that, and you're supposed to decipher that, and then the book just it's just like it's so advanced and like secured and everything like that, like trying to decipher that one sentence, but it messes with your mind to the point where you're deciphering it wrong, and then all of a sudden you're like, I got it, I have the cipher, but really it's like it's totally 100% wrong. Um, so it's interesting that Index was like, oh yeah, you do that and that and that and that and that. Is that right? And she's like, yeah. It's like, how'd you know? Or, whatever. She's like, it's wrong. It's just like, just let you know it's wrong. So that was like the whole war effectively against like these three factions and everything, or two factions, three factions. Yeah. Um, three factions. Was all for naught basically. Like she actually had like no cryptic whatever. Like she was just duped basically by the book. The book duped her. So it was a really cool fight though. We had a lot of cool fights with the not only the sisterhood branch or whatever. I think they're Roman. Are they the Roman or are they the other the peer or the they're all the followers of the church I know, but then there's like the Roman and then there's the Catholic, I think, or are they all Catholic? I know Catholic is part of like the cross, but I don't know if they consider all religions part of the Catholic Church, but just like religion is hard. Um, anyways, there's a whole subfaction of cross churches basically that we kind of banded together to make one faction. It seemed like, and then there's Styles Church basically, and then there's the Nuns Church basically. So there's three churches, three branches of the church, and then Index. Index, I guess, is part of Styles' church. I am guessing. I think so. Pretty sure it's Styles' church. Um, Pretty sure it is. Anyways, so the nuns were like very freaking hardcore. They were up to the point of like deafening themselves so that way they can fight Index, because she had like this big kind of like orchestral kind of like song that was like devastating everyone who heard it kind of thing. And so the nuns are up on the top of the roof. They brought up these pens. I thought for a second they're gonna start like writing on the air and like having like symbols appear and everything that does like spell abilities basically. But we never saw anything about that. Like ultimately the nuns never did any kind of magic. The only magical thing the nuns ever did was the leader of the nuns who had that weapon, whatever. Like every time she like hit something, it would like do damage to somebody else, kind of thing. So that was like the only kind of magical thing that they did. No, they had feathers that lit up on fire. Um, they also one had that one exploding wheel that would like the spokes of the wheel like exploded out, like damaging Toma, and then the splinters actually sucked back out to make the wheel once again. And then the one trainee nun, she had little bags that she was able to toss in the air, and then those are like projectile, whatever they go do whatever they want. Index ended up just like reversing them, kind of thing. So I guess they have objects for magic. It seems like not much like runes or something like that. They never do like active runes like Styles does. Styles has like rune cards and like he actually draws in stuff on the walls and on note cards or whatever sticky tape or whatever that and just like places it on stuff to then do magic. So the nuns don't really have that. They have objects of magic. And then the other branch, the ones that Kaori, the sword girl, is like what was once a priest of them. They seem to be all about weapons as well, um, but their whole thing was they do things out of the box. So I think they do certain magic that hides itself, so that way the enemy can't decipher what magic it is, so they can't fight against it, kind of thing. I'm pretty sure that's what one of the characters was talking about, how their magic works and everything. So their magic isn't like a big flashy, like, like saying like 100 sentences to like cast a big spell kind of thing. It's all kind of just like instant. So like the guy teleporting or whatever like that, like that was instantaneous. It wasn't like he was like not really flashy at all. Just like all of a sudden he's here and then he's there, kind of thing. So he dodged the attack, kind of thing. So and then the whole like underground knife thing, whatever, to pull the girl down, kind of thing. That was also very quick and everything. So I don't know. Maybe their weapons are magic as well, but we didn't really see too much of that. There is good sword fighters, so it seems like. But they're following Kaori, basically, who is a sword fighter. So she doesn't need a sword to fight, but she does use a sword anyways because she's very lucky in that sense. She uses magic too here and there, but does she use magic here and there? Yes, yeah. She uses the same kind of style of magic that Styles does, in a way, slightly, because she does the card stuff too. But like, or symbol stuff. She does symbols too, but they're not typically cards. They're actually drawn into. We saw her do like the time stop ability kind of thing, not time stop ability, but like the dimensional bubble that like we first met her in was her and Toma in the just kind of just bubble in the street, and like there's runes on the all around that was like carved in to make the bubble. So you couldn't like burn it away, or you can't like erase it. Basically, it's just like it's there. She does stuff like that and other things as well, versing runes and stuff like that. So some pretty cool stuff. I think this season's pretty cool because so far we're getting a lot more magic stuff than science stuff, which is good. Because that's one thing that I think is really interesting about Index and Railgun is Index is supposed to follow the magical side of the world, basically, and Railgun is supposed to go with the scientific side of the world and everything. And I love that. I love the differences in it because it makes it a whole different, unique experience. Because, like, for instance, one magic way could be looked upon, and the science way a whole different outcome, kind of thing. Like if whatever. Like I'm trying to think of an example. I'm trying to think if the magic people did something that the science people looked upon and said, "Oh yeah, that's somebody doing some kind of like Esper ability or something like that," but really it's magic. And I'm pretty sure all the magic people know about Espers, but Espers don't really know anything about the magic people. So like, there's only like a one-sided kind of thing there. But I like that. I like that side of things. Like this magical side, and then there's the scientific side, which is really cool. So I'm hoping season 2 it seems like season 2 is delving more into the magical side of things, which is very cool. We're gonna see more about the holy churches and everything, and the different branches of churches and more mages and that kind of thing, which is gonna be really cool. No doubt we're probably gonna here and there meet with Railgun and the Railgun characters, the kind of the other Espers in the adventures and everything. No doubt we're gonna do that. But I'm hoping we get a bunch more magical stuff here, in this season kind of thing. So that way when we go back to Railgun, we go jump back over to Railgun. There's a lot more scientific stuff over there that doesn't really deal with magical stuff, because then there's like a whole different show entirely, like an entirely different show kind of thing. Like in that case, because like I said, I love the fact that it's in the same universe, Index and Railgun, in the same universe, same characters. But they're on different adventures. They're on different paths, kind of thing. They cross every once in a while and connect and kind of intertwine themselves in the story and everything. But ultimately, they're still on their same path. They just kind of cross every once in a while. It's kind of like oh hey, it's Toma, and then back over kind of thing. So like there's stuff like that, which is kind of interesting. So I like that about this show a lot, and I hope it kind of sticks to that. Um, a lot of season one was very mixed in, like a lot. There was a lot of crossover between Index and Railgun and everything. A lot of it, because Toma was all about helping out some of the espers and everything. So that was delving into the scientific side of the story, and then going back to his story, and then going back, and then at one point he was there for quite a while, fighting Accelerator and that kind of thing. He was there for quite a while and like kind of staying with Railgun, and then he kind of differed again. And he came back, and so like there's a lot of that. Um, but I'm pumped to see what happens with Railgun and see the differences and everything. We do have to still go back and watch the first season, but I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see when we go to that. So a lot of cool spells and abilities that happened in this few episodes. Styles actually, or Toma coming up with the idea for Styles to use all of his entire deck of cards to summon like a mega beast kind of thing, like a mega fire beast kind of thing to come in and like help like shock and awe basically all of the nuns. So yeah, effectively the one girl, the one priest or nun, whatever, who thought she had the encryption code for like some kind of ancient tome or book or whatever like that, ended up not really having the same or the proper codex or whatever like that to actually decipher it. Meaning the nuns were just basically going to kill her for nothing. And it appears the church that the nuns are a part of has denounced that branch of nuns because it seems like they're going against the word of their people. But that could all just be a cover-up kind of thing. Who knows? So we'll probably get more into that with the different branches and everything. Maybe even get into different religions, maybe, that do magic things in this season and such. But I think that's it for right now. I'm probably forgetting some stuff here and there, but if you want to talk to me down below in the comments below, let me know down below, and I will try to get back to you as soon as I can. Everything. Sometimes I do miss a lot of comments because I am flooded of comments from not only just one video at a time, but like my entire catalog of things. So some stuff does get lost in the comment thing. So I can't read everything, but I do try to read everything. I do really try to read everything. There are a couple of them that I do it. Well, it seems to slip past kind of thing, which sucks. And it's hard to tell which ones I've read already, or they're different iterations of the ones I've read already, kind of stuff. So forgive me if I miss over your questions or whatever in the comments about my thoughts and everything. I do try to read everything. A lot of people are also helpful in the comments, not only in this series but other series about like information that I missed. Which thank you. I do miss information here and there, and clarification as well as like information that I did acquire, but I'm like misinterpreting it kind of thing. But you guys in the comments always kind of like steer me in the right direction, and I'm like, got it kind of thing. So thank you for that and everything. So yeah, don't spoil anything in the comments below for the future stuff of Index. Not only for my spoiler nature, but also for others who haven't seen the show as well. Don't spoil, don't be a dick. And I will see you guys next week for some more Railgun/Index, depending on what we do next. I'm not sure. Let's find out next week, shall we? Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys then. Take care, buddy.